problem is, a lot of us don't really know what peace is. Protect your peace, sis. Okay, protect your peace. Because again, you're trying to lean into all of these various narratives of who you just are not. You're not those people. You're you. And because you're you, you need to do things your way. Hey angels, it's your favorite licensed marriage and family therapist, Charlie Wrightnow. And welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to get into it because this is something that has been talked about all throughout social media, talking about protecting your peace. But what does that mean? Everybody's just saying it. But what does it mean to protect our peace? The problem is, a lot of us don't really know what peace is. And if you were to really be honest with yourself and recognize that I haven't even sat in my peace long enough to even recognize what I am protecting. That's what we're going to talk about today. First of all, understanding what peace looks like in each of our lives, and then also understanding how to protect it. 8 ways on how to protect your peace. So we're going to get into the video right now. So first, we're going to talk about what it is to even feel peace and recognize that peace is A, not the same for everybody, and B, something very difficult and hard to achieve if you're constantly in chaos. If your life is chaotic, if you don't know how to just sit with yourself, if you're just in here talking to this person, dealing with this person, in this drama, in that drama, if you just all over the place and you don't really take time for yourself, it can be very hard to identify if you haven't been able to embrace it and sit in it.
So a lot of times peace is just that your body is calm, your body feels no angst, no sadness, no depression. Your mind just feels like it's just flowing.
A lot of times we get a very false sense of peace through drugs, through alcohol. We have this euphoric feeling, and the euphoria is helpful to identify the peace, but it's not always a euphoric feeling. It's just a space of calm, and you feel that you are in control of nothing but you. You feel a totality of control, and that you feel that you're good. It's simple. Like, you feel like you're good. And so being in that space of calm, of happiness, of joy, that's peace, all wrapped into one. Being in that space takes time. And the biggest kicker that it takes is for you to be with you. And that is what a lot of people are afraid of. A lot of people are afraid to just be by themselves and be with them. But that's another video for another time. I'll tell you, I'll create a video to help you create your peace. This video is for those who have experienced peace. They feel like they know what joy, happiness, all of that good stuff is like. So I'm going to give you some 8 tips today on how to protect it, because it's a little difficult to protect it, especially in this day and age. So, how to protect your peace in 2022. Tip on how to maintain your peace and how to protect your peace is to first and foremost, stop arguing with people. Stop arguing with people. When you argue with people, you get this heightened and electrified sense of energy within you that is not quite peaceful. You feel on the defense. You feel like you have to fight. You feel like energized, but not in a way that is creating a sense of calm, a sense of happiness, a sense of, zen. It is a sense of more of battle, a sense of anger, a sense of potential chaos. And so when you're arguing with people, you're engaging in this energy that's going to create more of that. When you feel like you're defending yourself, or people try to falsely tell themselves like, oh, I'm implementing my boundaries. These are my boundaries when I'm, going back and forth with you. That's not boundaries. Offense doesn't talk to you. Offense doesn't say keep out. Does it? No. I mean, a sign might say it, but the fence itself is there. You know why the fence is there. It's to protect whatever that's inside, or to keep whatever it is that's outside. It doesn't have to argue its stance as an actual fence. And I'm talking about like a fence around your house. It holds you. Everyone knows what it is because it's just there. It has its stance. And so as a human being, when you are upset or getting into an argument with people, whether it's loved ones, spouses, even kids, all of those people you should not be arguing with. You state how you feel, what is necessary for you. You be assertive, and then that's it. That's it. Because when you argue with someone, essentially you're letting them know that you are willing and able and have the emotional capacity to negotiate what it is that you feel like you need. And that part is just, again, it's causing so much turmoil inside of you, because now you are lending your energy back and forth. Most likely it's toxic energy back and forth between one person and another person, you and another person. And that's creating the opposite of peace. So stop arguing. Tip number 2, get off social media. And it doesn't have to be forever, but you need to have some time and peace where you're not getting or time and space, peace too. But you need some time where you're not looking at a bunch of images that you're comparing yourself to. You're comparing your life to, you're comparing your body to, you're comparing what you do to, you're comparing your abilities, your finances, all of that. You're comparing you and your life on a regular basis when you are on social media and you're looking at all of these different images of what you feel like your life should be. This is creating a disturbance within your spirit. This is creating a disturbance within your mind. It's creating, and obviously all of it is tied together. So it's now creating a disturbance within your body. So you're feeling like your stomach is like, hurting, or you're getting headaches, or you're tired all the time, or whatever the case is. But you being on social media all the time is creating a significant disturbance within yourself. Because again, you're trying to lean into all of these various narratives of who you just are not. You're not those people. You're you. And because you're you, you need to do things your way. So when you constantly are comparing yourself to what you're seeing on social media, it's creating a significant disturbance inside of you that you got to cut off. Again, you have to be with you. You have to be okay with you. You have to be happy with you to even feel peace. And again, that's a video for another time, but this is how to protect it. So get off social media. 3 is how to protect your peace is to stop watching the news. If you need your weather, download the weather app. If you need to understand what is going on in your neighborhoods, okay. But try to limit it to whether it's just, I would say at night. I wouldn't even say watch the news in the morning, all that good stuff, because essentially what you're doing is just you're giving more and more energy to what they're perpetuating on the screens in front of you. So what they're telling you about all these murders and all of these killing or gun killings or whatever they're showing, robberies and this person doing this terrible thing and that person doing this terrible thing. All it is a bunch of terrible things collectively shown in front of you on a screen for a good hour or two and some change. And then they're repeating So you're watching it in the morning, you're watching it in the afternoon, and you're watching it at night. And all you're doing is continuously absorbing the negative energy of all the toxic things that are going on in the world on a regular basis. But Charlie, I need to know what's going on, because if I don't know what's going on, how am I going to protect myself? What you give energy to will persist.
What you give energy to will persist.
If you're constantly thinking because you're fearful, the news is telling you that it's, somebody jacking cars, right? Let's go back to that situation in the summer. So somebody's all these people, everybody jacking cars. You're getting all these cars getting jacked, right? Not saying that you are, you're absolved from that situation just because you ignore it. But more likely than not, you'll start bringing that energy closer and closer. The more you talk about it, the more you engage about it, the more you look at it, the more you recognize it as a truth in your world. If this is something that is like, oh my God, you heard about that person jacking that car and this person jacking that car, and all you're doing is thinking about it, talking about it, and feeling how you feel about it, and continue to rinse, wash, and repeat that, and you're manifesting that. So even if you don't know, even if it doesn't happen to you, the carjacking doesn't happen to you, it might happen to somebody that's very close to you. It might happen to somebody that that's not too far, the person of a person that you know. But essentially, you're bringing that into your world. You're bringing that energy into your world the more you focus on it. Law of attraction at its finest. You focus on what it is that you want, that you desire to happen. And you cut off the energy that you desire, that you don't want to happen. Okay, you got to cut that energy off. So, stop watching the news. With number 3, the same thing with number 4, is to stop anticipating. Stop anticipating the bad thing that's about to happen. When you start anticipating that bad thing that's about to happen, you start neglecting the good things that are currently happening. Let's say you're dating and you just met somebody new and you're like, oh my gosh, I bang with them. They're nice, they're handsome, they're cute, they're pretty, whatever the case is. They seem like they got a good personality. And then all you be like, oh, they probably toxic as hell. They probably got this going on. They probably got that going on. They probably got 10 kids. They probably got 5 baby mamas. I'm cool off them. And you at work, you're like, oh, I just know such and such about to say this. I just know this about to happen. I just know that's about to happen. You didn't even allow yourself to sit in the happiness of that experience. Happiness is contagious. Energy attracts like energy. So even if you're sitting in this happy moment about this person that you just met, and it's just like a great, happy gut feeling, like butterflies and happiness and joy, just sit in that space. Just allow yourself to sit in that space. Because once you sit in that happiness and sit in that space, you're attracting more of that. And even if they aren't the one, and even if they do got 5 baby mamas or 10 kids or whatever the case is, and you're like, yeah, no, that's okay. That doesn't mean that your happiness is based off of that. Because what will happen is that he might not be the one, that person might not be it, but it's because you're vibrating and emitting this high energy happiness vibration, you're going to pull in more of that, and you might just meet the person that you're actually looking for. Okay? So stop waiting for the bad thing to happen. Sit in your happiness. Practice sitting in your happiness, because you just cutting it off. You cutting off your happiness, and you're allowing the negative to go in. And that's not protecting your peace. That's just letting your peace out. Just like, bye peace, bye happiness, bye joy. I don't really want you. That's what you're saying. I don't really want you because I'm waiting for that bad stuff to happen. And that bad stuff is about to happen. Number 5, do more things that you actually like to do. Okay? Protecting your peace. I have 10 tips for self-love, and that basically engages or involves understanding of how to create more peace in your life. And again, I told you I'm going to do a video about that. But this is about protecting it. So once you know what peace is, once you know what happiness and joy is, you want to do more things that you like to continue to create that momentum of creating a peace bubble around you. You'll start to exclude certain things. You'll start to recognize certain things that don't serve you. You'll start to recognize and say, you know, I can't engage in this. I can't do this. That's where natural boundaries come into play, which is another tip of how to protect it. But we'll get there in a second. But you want to do more things that you like to do. Again, building that momentum. It's just like the last one of sitting in your happiness. Because as you're sitting in your happiness, you're attracting more of that. So if you start to kind of like pick up breadcrumbs, if you will, that the universe is giving you. Like you sit in your happiness over that, you know, let's say you got, you know, this guy like that you like is, you know, giving you good signs, giving you good flags, green flags all the way. And you're like, okay, I'm feeling so good. But then you start to lean all the way into him, and because you're thinking that he's creating your happiness and he's creating your peace and he's creating your joy, then you're going to start to become slowly but surely disappointed in various things, because essentially no person, hear me out y'all, this is real tea, no person can create your happiness or peace. Even if you're married, even if you've been married forever, even if you found your soulmate, it doesn't matter. No one person, the sole creator of your peace. You are the creator of your peace. And so you have to do things to generate more of that into your vortex or into your world, how you're surrounded. So do more things that you like, because as you figure out, like I said, you say you found this guy, he's creating all types of happiness, smiles, and all that good stuff for you. Then start to do what you like to do. Go to the movies if you love movies. Go in your garden, do painting, go roller skating, write, journal, cook. Go out in the woods or in nature. I don't say the woods, be careful. But go in nature. Just do more of what you like to do. Because as you're moving in that momentum, again, is creating more of that. So you're creating more peace as you start with that little bit of peace. So do more of what you like. Number 6 is to create healthy boundaries, okay? Healthy boundaries. Not just, I ain't talking to him because of this. It's healthy boundaries, okay? Creating healthy boundaries is very difficult if you don't have self-love. And I'm going to do another video on at some point where I'm talking about how just the cultivating of love for yourself is going to create natural healthy boundaries. When you're creating boundaries purely off of like anger, sadness, being upset, like, oh, I'm not being with, I don't talk to them because they did X, Y, and Z to me. I'm cutting them off. That's my boundary. Those aren't healthy boundaries. Those are emotional cutoffs. And emotional cutoffs don't necessarily leave you feeling good. Emotional cutoffs still has you kind of wrestling with that feeling of, I really miss them. I really love them. I wish they would do X, Y, and Z. I wish they would just do this better. If they just only did that, if they just apologized, if they just, gave me what I was asking for, whatever the case is, I would be okay. Again, you're putting your power into their hands. And that never creates peace. That only creates turmoil within ourselves. So when you're cutting someone off, or you're saying that I'm not talking to X, Y, and Z person because of my boundaries, because you're angry with them or you're upset with them, it's not a healthy boundary. That's an emotional cutoff that will continue to keep you disturbed. Even if you say, oh, I ain't even worried about that, I'm not talking about them, blah, blah, blah. That name comes up, that person comes into your presence, you're not going to feel at ease. You're not going to feel calm. You're not going to feel at peace. You're more than likely going to want to stir some stuff up again, or maybe you don't do it, but you're going to want to, because essentially you're creating a boundary that is unhealthy. You're creating something purely out of the stem of a negative emotion, instead of focusing on building something from a space of love. And when you build something from a space of self-love, it's a natural progression that's going to hold people back, and you're going to push certain energies back away from you on purpose. Whether it's because you're ignoring them, whether it's because you move away from the situation, you put yourself at a distance because you're like, I like it here. I like feeling good. I like feeling happy. And you're not making me feel happy. So I don't want to deal with you. And it's not an anger stance. It's not a stance of fuck you. It's not none of that. Sorry for the kids. It's a stance that you feel like you're content in your space because you're happy. And you don't want anything to disturb that happiness. So the only way to create that is to create and cultivate self-love and love for yourself. And then that's when everything else around you are no longer interested in engaging in that, because it doesn't serve, or it doesn't create or continue to perpetuate your happiness. And so you then make the choice that I'm going to create a boundary that I don't want to engage in that negativity. I don't feel like it. I'm not pulled to it. Because again, you're protecting your peace. So creating healthy boundaries. Number 7 is to engage in self-loving activities. And a lot of times we don't really know what self-love activities look like, but it's about sitting with yourself, getting to know yourself, engaging in things that you like to do, putting yourself out of alignment with things that make you sad, angry, or upset. It's admitting the wrongs that you've done to yourself as it relates to you constantly engaging in toxic behaviors. It's being gentle with yourself. It's being your own best friend. That's what self-love activities look like. I'm going to do a video on 10 tips to help you build self-love. But that's what self-love looks like in a nutshell. What you would say to your children if your children were engaging with someone who is harmful or hurtful to them. What you would say to your mama if you love your mama. What you would say to your mama if she was doing something that wasn't helpful or harmful to her. What you would say to your spouse. You love these people. So how you engage with them is going to be a little bit different than how you engage with people that you don't necessarily feel you have an actual love for. So that's what you have to do for yourself. You have to engage in a way with yourself. Like, what would you tell yourself if you have a friend who is constantly using you? What would you tell your daughter or your child or your son if they had a friend that was constantly using you and you saw it? How would you tell them to navigate that? That's the same way that you have to do for yourself. You have to help yourself navigate these situations in the space of love. So you talk to yourself, maybe pretend to be the older version of you or the future you, or the parent of you, reparent yourself. Again, we ain't getting into all of that today because that's going to be a 2-hour video. But just identifying ways of how to love yourself as if you love your child, as if you love your husband, your best friend. Those are ways that you should be engaging with yourself, loving on yourself, talking to yourself. That is how you keep your peace. Continue to focus on you and your self-love. And the last tip on how to preserve and keep your peace is to practice meditation. Practice sitting with you, going inside of you, speaking to your soul, addressing all things that are inside of you, like just being with you, cutting off your mind for a temporary amount of time, having a reset button, there's so many benefits to meditation, but one of the things to really help you to maintain and preserve your peace is to do that on a regular basis. Practice the meditation piece. It also helps with visualizing, because then you can visualize what it is that you actually want for your life and kind of pursue that instead of feeling like chaotic or you're just doing the mundane day-to-day situation that you're used to. Meditation allows you to explore your imagination. It helps with creativity, and it helps you to open up your understanding of you as it relates to this world. You are a creator, and if you're not creating, then you're not living. So those are the 8 tips on how to preserve your peace. You have to practice these things, because this day and age with all of this crazy stuff that's going on out here, peace can easily be disturbed, okay? And because there's so many people out here who don't even know what peace is, they are real quick to make sure that you don't know what peace is. So you have to do things on purpose. You have to do things on purpose to make sure that you can preserve and maintain your peace. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope you can utilize some of these tools and techniques on how to protect your peace, because it's hard out here, y'all. So do what's best for you. If you are ever interested in individual therapy, couples, or group therapy, I have a website that you can go to get all information. And you go to www.wrightnowcounseling.com. That is www, we'll put the link down there, wrightnowcounseling.com. And again, I'm your licensed marriage and family therapist, energy therapist, Charlie Wrightnow. Make sure you click subscribe, like this video if it was really helpful to you. Make sure you share it with those who you feel like need it, because trust me, we all need to feel like some type of peace nowadays with all of this stuff going on. All right, angels. Have a great day.